Hi, my name is Paula Garces, and today I'm going to be talking about the negative effects of self-quarantine. How many times have you been stuck at home, bored out of your mind because of quarantine? Many other Americans are experiencing the same feeling, but are experiencing it in a home where they're emotionally, mentally, or physically abused, or all three, or they are in a very bad economical state. So this issue affects everyone because everyone can be affected by the pandemic. No one is safe and everyone could get affected, so everyone is required to stay at home and self-quarantine. Now, many people suffer from mental illnesses and being stuck at home affects them. So because of the new laws in the state, we are not allowed to go outside and have any social contact because of the effects of getting infected. This has progressed into making people feel scared, panicked, lazy, unmotivated, depressed, and anxious. Aside from feeling this, many are stuck in a toxic home with parents who mistreat them, and this affects tremendously their physical state, their mental state, and their emotional state. So many of these kids are stuck in violent and toxic homes, and they can't leave their house like they used to go to school, which was their escape, and they now feel trapped more than ever because legally you're trapped inside your home, but now you feel also emotionally and mentally stuck with your situation at home. So according to the NCADV, the National Coalition Against Domestic Abuse, more than 10 million Americans are victims of physical violence annually, and 20 of these people are victims of physical abuse every minute in the United States. That means that all those people are now stuck in those homes where they are being damaged. The American Psychology Association reports that isolation carries several health risks. So feeling isolated can lead to poor sleep, poor cardiovascular health, lower immunity, depressive symptoms, and impaired executive function. Almost everyone is experiencing unmotivation and feeling depressed, sad, not knowing what to do, not really having anything to look up to. So this shows between 2002 and 2004, more than 15,000 people in Toronto voluntarily went into quarantine, and later research discovered that quarantined individuals experience psychological consequences, some being short-term and some being long-term, but it was still affected them, and some are still trying to recover from what being isolated from the world really is. So in order to help those who are stuck in quarantine, we need to stop interactions for 14 days straight where no one is in contact with anyone, and this way we can accelerate the process of quarantine and resume to normal activities. So you might be thinking, wait, so you want to not let anyone out 14 days and just be stuck at home? But I believe that this is the best way to fix the solution, because if we're stuck for 14 more days instead of an unbearable amount of time where we don't even know, this is creating uncertainty for people. A lot of people don't know when quarantine is going to be over, and the government, the news just keeps extending the date, and it feels as if we're never going to get done with this. So if we all stop contact for 14 full days, then there would be no more contact with anyone, and we would be able to detect the people who are already infected and stop the people who are not infected from getting infected. So if the government implemented stricter policies, no one could be allowed out of their house. So in the previous example that I had used, when 14 people in Toronto voluntarily went into quarantine due to acute respiratory symptoms, which is called abbreviated SARS, it's like COVID-19, which has contagious respiratory illnesses. They quarantined for about 10 days and were able to resume to normal activity after that because they were completely isolated, showing that if we all went into a isolated section of 14 days, then we could stop the spreading completely and, as I said, move on to normal activity. It will be hard for people not to be allowed out of the house completely because of the boredom it can cause, and if the government were to stop making rent due for 2 weeks, invest in family packs for those in need, and make it 2 weeks stay-at-home order, we could all resume to normal activity quicker. So let's say the government actually put money into this and stop making people work, stop making rent due, stop any payments due for 14 days, and then we could resume, as I mentioned, to regular activity. So although quarantine is a good thing, the unexpected time for this ending is causing stress, and quarantine is affecting people, and this is causing many emotional distress. So in conclusion, if we go straight into a quarantine, we can give those who are anxious and depressed at home an outlook of this time passing and a more effective and faster solution to quarantine. Everyone could participate by encouraging others to self-quarantine, stay inside, and make your opinion heard. If you think that this should be the right thing, then make your opinion heard and don't stay quiet, make it known to others. One step at a time, we can all end this time of uncertainty and panic. Thank you.